must be stuck in the traffic jam. Caught in the traffic.
Must be. I hope you arrive soon. Yeah.
Hey guys! Oh my god!
Oh, finally I'm done!
Good to see you.
So you guys have been talking for long?
Some time now.
Someone else is joining us.
Yeah, I heard that. I just heard that. No,
Yeah.
it's really
Okay.
So do you have any idea what this show is all about?
I just know that we're gonna have a good time learning about each other. So yes. But I'm really interested how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna talk
I'm sure
something.
it's going to. I'm hoping for really positive results.
Hey, hello.
Oh,
Hi.
I'm glad to meet you. You are?
Tia.
Yeah, I'm Wong.
I am Kenny.
Kenny Wong here.
So nice to meet you, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to come, and you are RJs once again, right? RJs.
Yes, they are RJs.
Right, great. I'm the producer of this new show. We're expecting one more person to come. She'll come anytime.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Well, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. We're also equally very excited
Yeah.
and intrigued at the same time what this show is about.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
Hey.
Sia.
I'm Tia.
Oh, Tia.
Hey,
very
nice to meet you, Kenny here.
Here. Hello,
So
sir.
you're Sia, right?
Yes, I'm
You're,
Sia. I'm an artist.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Alright, yes.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, very nice to meet you. Very new faces, new people.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm not very sure about what it's about, but
I know everybody is new to one another. And we have to take a little bit of time to get to know one another.
Very true.
Hopefully,
Exactly.
we are going to have a very interactive session. And now that we have introduced ourselves, met one another, so I just would like to give a concept of the new show, the show which we are all coming here to meet and discuss about. So mengando ini itu ajihil upaya saya, we are getting to know one another only today itself. So we also are starting afresh, and by the way, we are also speaking both the local languages, which is English and Nagalese, and we'll just go ahead with them. And so the name of the show is known as Aspirations and Belief, because we know as individuals that what we aspire for, what we believe in, makes us what we can be, is our future, develops our work life, develops our attitude towards life. So aspirations and belief are very important for all of us. This show is actually targeted mainly for younger people, and we would like you guys, you girls, to take an active part. So wan sob jani ase to kuno wadu youth thakibo, kuno wadu college to kuri ase, kuno wadu kam grina thakibo. So yadi bi apunan kuno wadu kam kuri ase, kuno wadu thik education bi khodam hoise. To etu kan la nijo life para tuan ki jani ase to share koribo dana. So they were like, let's have a positive mindset that we are going to learn from one another, as well as we are going to let our viewers out there learn from us. So thank you all for coming once again. And as we know, the situation in Nagaland now, I don't know why, but our people are becoming so negative outlook. We don't have a positive belief in ourselves, nor other people, nor our society, nor our politicians. Everything seems to be negative against one another. Elderly people, younger people, everybody is becoming too negative, I should say. And so we need to have develop a positive mindset for ourselves, and also mindset towards other people also, right? And so if you're going to succeed in life, you better have a positive attitude. Otherwise, many times we are observing that our people are developing the crab mentality, which is like you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, then when one or two crabs try to climb over the bucket, then the other crabs try to pull it down through the claws, So everybody trying to pull one another, criticizing one another, but not encouraging one another, not complimenting one another. So let's get out of this, I should say. It's high time that we develop a positive mindset, positive attitude towards ourselves, towards our society, towards our future, and towards our God. So that's what we are looking at. And so aspirations and positive belief is what our program is about. And so once again, let's introduce ourselves once again. Starting with on my right, please.
Hi, my name is Seye Vinyochijo. I am an artist, a singer, and I hope we will learn from each other.
So once again, I'm Anand and I did my master's in social work, and currently I'm now working in All India Radio Kohima, and like said Siye, I'm excited to learn from each other. I'm sure we all have a story to tell.
Hi guys, my name is Kenny and currently I'm working as a radio jockey in All India Radio Kohima FM travel band, that is, and yeah, I have done my master's in mass communication and journalism.
Well, hi everyone. I am Tiam Lakichu. I am also working as a radio jockey at the All India radio station. I am also slicing my time working as a seminar coordinator for an NGO generating employment for rural women, and I hope that this is going to be an absolutely amazing session.
Actually, Kia, that's very interesting. You've got a lot of NGO and social work background experience.
To vaguely put in, I was always in the people business, and being a video jockey gives me a platform, or should I say a good opportunity to connect with people from different class, from different backdrops, and it is always very interesting to connect with people through entertainment. So I think that is the reason why I opted sociology, as well as I'm working as an RJ, so it really helps me to connect with people in general.
That's quite interesting.
Yes.
Alright.
We know, like Sir has mentioned about the theory, mentality. I totally agree with it, because I also believe in that. I think there is a saying about the frog in the well. The frog has lived in the well for his entire or her entire life. That this person believes, this frog believes, I think this animal believes that he or she knows everything about the environment, but he is not aware of the fact that there is a vast environment. The rural women, like I mentioned earlier, rural women, as we all know, are not skilled laborers. They are not well educated, and there is very less opportunity for them to develop. So our NGO is working towards providing them with skilled opportunities, not only about work in general, but about lifestyle, housekeeping, how to educate themselves, about hygiene. So yeah, that is basically what we're working towards.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, okay, one interesting thing is that out of the 5 of us, there are three of you who are RJs, okay? RJs. So, is there some interesting anecdotes and incidences? No, how is life being an RJ?
I would say it's really, really interesting because you get to be behind the back of the microphone, and you just get comfortable, and you have this love that fills you around. Like said, it's not only about being in person to person, but you can still feel that warmth, that love. And like said, music really is this one language that brings together, and I'm getting to experience more of that even now. So yes, I'm loving it, every minute of it.
As for me being an RJ, well, this is one of the best things that is happening in my life, I would say. I love being an RJ, every minute of it. It's super fun, it's just super fun. I can just speak my mind to my listeners, and in return, I get all the love, all the supports from them, and well, that's just amazing. And communicating with them, interacting with them, connecting with them, well, that's something, I just love it, the bond that we share, even though we don't see each other. And well, I did mass communication because I love communication, and after my mass communication, I got into this job. So yes, I love talking, I love storytelling, I love stories, and well, here I am as an RJ, so I love every minute of it.
Okay. So hopefully, you'll be able to communicate more also through this show. Like this, everything is communication, as media, and so we want to communicate positive belief to our viewers, to our listeners. And so, hopefully this is where we also learn and we also communicate, right?
Yeah, right. And well, what beautiful way, you're communicating with someone, and in return you're impacting them. It's impactful, it's influencing them. Oh, that's just something amazing. So yeah.
We also want to get feedback from our viewers, so this is going to YouTube, Facebook, or, wherever. So we will ask them to give in future, ask them to give you questions so that, you specifically, perhaps it will address to Seye, or to address to Kenny, or to Tiala. So, questions from our viewers, whereby if you have an issue in your life, after watching to this program, you have a better idea to ask about, right?
Yes.
So, again, one of my belief is that, as human beings, we need food to eat, to grow, to sustain, to strengthen. So in the same way, actually, as human beings, we need, food in other ways. I mean, like, we need food, mentally food, spiritual, academic, social, emotional, even economical. And, we need constant to grow in these areas. Otherwise, we stagnate, we become negative. And that's the way we are seeing, so much negativity in our land, in our society. So, that's the state of affairs in our society. And perhaps any comments from my right side?
So as you mentioned about negativity among our Naga society, I believe when negative voices plays in our head, in our mind, it plays the loudest. Every pain, every critics, every deteriorate, right? So yeah, it plays over and over again.
Exactly.
So we should not let negative vibes or any negative impact our life, especially our mind. So because when our mind is negative, definitely our heart gets negative. And when our hearts are negative, practically our lifestyle, our actions, attitude, everything becomes negative. So we should learn to be positive in one side, because positive is the doorway for every success, I believe. Because when you're negative, you don't let other people grow, you don't grow yourself either. So that's what I believe about negativity. What do you think about it, Anna?
Me?
Yeah, negative, because there are so many negative people around us.
And talking about negativity and everything, personally I feel that living in a digital world today, we have lots of impact. And sometimes we cannot filter what we are learning.
Exactly.
And at the end we end up doing things what people are doing which may not be good for our society also. So it's I don't know, it's chaos, I should say. It's chaos, it's complete chaos.
Exactly. Chaos and confusion.
Yes.
And negativity. Okay.
So for example, I'm a singer, or as well as a ministry worker. So doesn't necessarily mean I am a theologian, not necessarily mean I am a full-time church worker or a preacher. But what my father, ever since I was very little, he had been telling me and my siblings about everyone is a missionary, and at the same time, everyone is gifted, and God has appointed different anointings for different purpose in our life. So you're an RJ, you're a social worker, or I am a singer. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we are not missionaries, but we are appointed by different anointings for different purpose in our lives. So people like me, somebody like me who is involved into ministry work, I am very interested in religion, by the way. So when I'm interested in religion, and I still sing secular song, but I still make sure that the kind of song that I'm singing is pleasing to God, And in order to get in front of the public, I get to stand in front of the public, and I can't just wear a t-shirt, get up, wash my face and get up sing. But there is a need to be presentable and be professional at the same time. So at that point, when I put on makeups or dressed, making sure that it's decent, there is still negative. People saying that there is a ministry worker who is singing a secular song, a ministry worker who is, putting makeups. I believe that if Jesus is, in 21st century, I don't think he would be on that long gown and the rope on his waist. I don't even believe that, you will have the long beard and the long hair like we assume,
But maybe these
Or,
days beard is
yeah.
less romantic.
I never know. We never know. And I don't think that he will be, a soft-spoken man, like he knows no anger man. No. I believe that he will be, the same personality that he has in the 4th century BC. He will still have that personality, that radical personality. That's how he impacted the society. That's how he impacted Christianity, right? But I believe that he will be a decent gentleman on suit and coat and presentable and professional, I believe that will be Jesus. And there was no Oriflame, Avon, MAC and other beauty product stuff there in their times, but we have it now. So I believe, when coming back to Mary, Mary, he poured out the perfume, an expensive perfume for Jesus, right? And he wiped Jesus' feet with her hair. And I believe that was, makeup during that time. Yeah, Jesus got angry too. He got angry in the temple, is it not? He got angry with the merchants and, the commercial activities that was happening. He didn't want it to happen. He said that you are making my temple a den of, thieves. So Jesus got angry too. I believe that, most of our Nagas have that mentality that Christian Puja Shek. So we need to dress like that, we need to sing like that, we need to be like that. Everyone needs to be a missionary. No, we are appointed by different anointings for different purpose. So our Nagas, our people should come back, rethink once again that if you are Jesus, what would you do? If Jesus was in 21st century, what would he do? Likewise, this is my motto. If I was Jesus, what would I do? That's how I take steps too. And I believe if everyone takes steps like this, I believe that everyone will be positive. At the same time, no matter how much battles you face in your life, everyone will be able to break through it positively.
So what would Jesus do in this day and age? How would you humiliate him, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of religion, I mean. But as a Christian, every one of us are Christian here in Nagaland. And not just Nagaland, we are all brought from a, Christian background. So in that perspective, I just wanted to imply,
I just wanted to say about negativity. And speaking about negativity interlinked with digital world, I should say. We are working as RJs, and I think being an RJ in a Naga society is quite very recent. When I was growing up, I would hear people speaking on the radio, but then we are in connection with our listeners in a very intimate way.
Okay.
Like they can send us instant messages. So when we talk about negativity and how people, condescend us in their own ways, we get hundreds and hundreds of messages in one show, and then there is this one message that comes in. I understand that you get a lot of love and you get a lot of support from people, but of course in a digital world you are bound to receive backlash from people. But then when this one message comes in, and when I open this message, it really affects the state of mind. This person might not actually be commenting on me, this person might be just trying to get into my skin, but his negativity is being transmitted to me via messages, and that is what is happening today. All the fake news, all this social media trolling. Someone is trying to do something. I have seen a lot of times in our Naga society, when someone tries to do something on a public platform, I think more than 50 to 60%, more than half of the people are, criticizing them without knowing what kind of work is being put in. So we have this tendency of comparing ourselves with the Western people. Not even with the mainland people, we have this tendency of comparing ourselves with the Western people. We have a long way to go. Evolution is a very slow process. We have a long way to go, but I think we should support people, especially young people who are trying to do something out of themselves, and especially that does not fall into the social norms. When someone is trying to do something, instead of commenting on them, instead of criticizing them, you can give them, constructive criticism. If you feel like the person is not doing a right thing, or maybe you can just support this person, because our Naga society will not be built in a day, but step by step, maybe step by step.
These are very, very good examples of grab mentality. I mean, you artists are facing, and she as a singer is facing. So likewise, if anybody is doing something good, and so much criticism, no encouragement. So what is happening to our Nagas? What to our young people? No? So let's give love, let's support. And so in the course of our this program, we'll also aspire to watch one or two videos and learn something from those videos, some points which apply to our lives. So today we have one video which is called as "There's no magic solution for your happiness." Okay, so there are a list of 10 points. We have taken it from a Canadian guy, famous guy called Evan Carmichael. And so based from his 10 points, he's always featuring successful people who are, they follow these 10 rules. So there's one lady here, her name is Gretchen Rubin. So she has given 10 points. So later on we'll have a look at a video and we'll discuss. So this is the first part of our show today.
There is no magic one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to habits or happiness or anything.
Live media, LED screens with broadcast by Highland Dawn Media. Live multi-camera HD video record and live projection to HD LED screen. Live streaming videos simultaneously to websites, YouTube, Facebook. Later on, the same live event is telecast on 1. Nagaland Cornerstone TV, 24/7 online TV channel worldwide. Consistent, professional, reliable Nagaland and beyond media.
Well, I believe that was it. We have our first part of the discussion in this room. Now we'll go to another room to have our second part of the discussion. And before we do that, ini jalan deh we itu saya nak crew kan behind the scenes we na kici lagi na. So for today I'll introduce you to the crew.
That's nice.
Interesting.
Come along. Here is our meeting room. Sitting here. So this is where come. Yeah, this is Hida, by the way, Hida, and Manchano.
Okay.
Hello. I know you.
The real heroes behind the curtain.
Very true, very true.
Okay, so the different cameras they will select and then it will be recorded here. Okay.
Alright.
So this is Manan, he's the lighting person. Manan.
Hi.
Hello.
Come. So, So we have Temjin here. Temjin, he's one of the assistant director. Temjin, one of our experienced technical guys. And then and then we have Sunab and Tokivi behind. One assistant director and the other is cameraman. So cameraman is helping out as production assistant now. Tokivi and Sunab. Well, ladies, in the first session we have come to get to know one another, and we have had a kind of a nice interaction.
Yeah.
We are here. We want to discuss further about the specific topic for the day, which is with concern to do with happiness. You know, how a person could be happy in his or her life, what a person needs to do, or what makes you feel happy, and what a young person could do to make themselves happy. So we also, as a guideline, we also have a video where we are talking about happiness, and the title of the video is happiness there is no solution for your happiness, right? So out of that we have some points.
Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Know yourself.
A lot of times people are sort of like, these are the 7 habits of highly creative people. They do this. They get up early in the morning. They write 800 words a day. And you're like, ooh, that's what I need to do, and then I will be highly creative. No. What I found, and I think it's just irrefutably true, is that there is no magic one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to habits or happiness or anything. And then we always have to begin by saying, like, what's true for us. So you might say, oh, I get up at 5 a.m. and write, and my 5 to 7 a.m. is, it's quiet, my mind is fresh, I've just done my meditation. It's like amazing. This is what everybody should do. But it's like, well, some people are night people, and they're not at their most creative until 4 p.m. So for them to get up early and try to write is like nonsensical. It's just not right for them. It's not that you're wrong or they're wrong. It's just that people are different. And so when you're trying to create your habits, it's really important to start by saying, well, what kind of person am I? What's true about me, And like another thing that comes up is simplicity lovers and abundance lovers. Simplicity lovers like clean surfaces, bare walls, quiet, few choices, and that's how they feel like they have focus and creativity and energy. Abundance lovers like a lot of buzz, a lot of profusion, a lot of choices, people running around, a lot going on. There's nothing wrong with that either. And a lot of times people are like, if you're going to be creative, you have to clean up your desk. No, it's not necessarily true. And I'm sure you've seen the amazing book, Mason Curry's book, Daily Rituals, which is all about the habits of the super, super genius people. And what you see,
They're all over the place.
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
So one person gets up early and one person stays up late, and one person drinks coffee and one person drinks vodka, and one person works in a crowd and one person works all by themselves, and one person works a half an hour a day like Gertrude Stein, and another person works 14 hours a day like P.G. Wodehouse. I mean, it's like, there's just, you can't prescribe. You have to begin by knowing yourself. And so I think that's the first thing for people to do. Say, like, well, when do I do my
recognize?
When
that.
do I do my best work? When have I succeeded in the past? What attracts me? What idea attracts me? Does it attract me, the idea that I would get up at 5 a.m.? Maybe that sounds great, or maybe that sounds like hell. You just sort of think about it. I think a lot of times we're kind of adrift. And we're reacting instead of saying, like, well, what's true for me? How should I shape my environment, my schedule as much as I can to suit myself?
Is it fair to say that in Gretchen Rubin's world, that step one is knowing yourself?
Yes.
Rule number 2, do what you love.
You went to law school, then you actually went into law, you're kind of starting your law career, and then you realize, I don't want to be doing this.
You're absolutely right. I had started my career in law. One of the things that helped me, and I suggest this to people generally, is to think about whom do you envy. Because envy is a very, very unpleasant emotion, but it reveals a lot. And one of the things that helped me as I was figuring out whether I wanted to try to be a writer was when I would read the alum notes in my college magazine, people who had cool law jobs, I was like, that sounds interesting. But then when people had cool writing jobs, I just felt sick with envy. And so I began, and also at that time, I started to have an idea for a book that I wanted to write which was published, called Power, Money, Fame, Stacks, A User's Guide. And I began to realize, I'm writing this book on the weekend, but some people write a book as their job. And my sister was a professional writer. She's a TV writer. And I got to the point where I thought, I'd rather fail as a writer than succeed as a lawyer. And my husband and I were moving from Washington to DC to New York. So there was this sort of logical transition. And I thought, if I don't try it now, if I get another law job, I'm not sure I will ever have like the wherewithal to make a switch. So this is my moment. This is the obvious time to give it a shot. So why don't I try? And so I went to the bookstore and got a book called something like How to Write and Sell Your Nonfiction Book Proposal, and just followed the directions.
Out of those points, you have seen the video. So what would make you feel happy? Or how would you feel more happy or fulfilled with your life? Any one of you?
Well, happiness is so simple, yet it's a very complicated topic. Everyone has their own definition of happiness. For some it is money, for some it is job satisfaction, and for some just following your passion. So for me, through that video, what I could get it was doing what you love. For me, job satisfaction is very important. And when I say job satisfaction, like I mentioned earlier in our earlier discussion, I aspire to become a government servant. I understand that trying to become or wanting to become a government servant in a day and age like today seems very irrational, and I know foolish as well, because it's the day and age of entrepreneurships. But like I said, I believe in job satisfaction, and one should do what one loves to do. And I think if you are in a position where you are doing what you love, then you will be giving what is best for the society, and you can give your best. So I think what I learned from that video, and what I am going to conquer from that video, is that one should do what one loves to do. There is a saying by Jawaharlal Nehru where he says that there is nothing so bad and nothing so dangerous than fear. And when he talks about fear here, he is talking about the fear of being rejected from your peer group, the fear of being different, the fear of being ostracized by your society. But I just want to encourage all the young people that, you should do what you love. And then in the process, you are going to contribute categorically a tremendous amount of good things to your society. So that is something that I want to put in.
In addition to what she said, I just wanted to end with that note saying that don't let your heredity change your destiny. Because unlike our parents who always advise us for a government job in the first place, or get a job which will benefit yourself whereas the family, but I believe that our talents and our potential is more important. So when you follow your dreams, when you follow your potential, I believe that is more important, and that's where you become a source, an impact, or a start where a lot of other people can follow and dream at the same time and achieve big in a different manner, not just the government job.
I think the very first point in that video was to know oneself.
Yeah.
I think that is so important. And then I think the last point in the video was having clarity. So it's so important for us to know ourselves and to have clarity of what one can do and what one can contribute.
Yes, adding to that about knowing yourself or knowing about ourselves, I always believe this word and I try to, relive by it. Like, many people have many definitions about life as a roller coaster, which is a very common cliche, but life is again another journey of self-discovery. It's where you learn. As we grow up, we try to just embrace other people's life. We try to
And
be
imitate.
attracted, yes, and we end up nowhere but stressing ourselves out, finding no purpose or reasons at all.
Exactly.
But as we grow up, taking time to just learning about yourself, I think that is also another way of finding your happiness, finding who you are. So yes, in this video, I got really impacted, and I would really agree about, knowing about yourself, knowing who you are.
Okay, again, adding to what you guys have said. Okay, so yeah, knowing about yourself, do what you love. And you know what? I'll start by saying that life is very simple, and it's very easy to be happy, but it's we who make it very complicated, thinking what people will think about me and this and that, we start thinking too much, and overthinking leads to complications. So yeah, we should keep it simple, and enjoy the little things that happens in our life. And like Tia has said, do what you love, right? So yes, and in the process of doing that, it doesn't matter how you choose to live your life. People will be always there, there will be some people who will be always there to criticize you, waiting for the time to criticize you, to put you down, but that doesn't mean that you stop there. You have to keep on going, because those are some things, that will encourage you. You should use those as a weapons to push you up, to encourage you, and keep going, because once it gets into your head, well, your happiness stops there. So yeah, you gotta keep on moving, I guess, and you gotta do what you do.
Truly said.
I totally agree with her, because I am sure that people who are history changers, I should say, they don't aspire to become presidents or prime ministers or own billion-dollar companies. I am sure they just started small. I'm sure there were a lot of people who were criticizing them, and I'm also sure there were a certain group of people who were supporting them. But in the process, they were just tirelessly working towards succeeding in their lives, and in the process, they have created history. So I think we should embrace people as well as accept people, and most importantly accept ourselves also, and be loyal to ourselves, to our passion, and especially to our calling.
Very true. It all starts with I. It all starts with me, because we end up finding or searching for happiness in other sources, from like friends, from wealth, and we end up not being satisfied, and we're just there, with confusion. Obviously not saying to be narcissistic, but starting that growth of happiness with ourselves. And it's very important, yes. Back to the point. Knowing who you are.
Yes.
It's all about discovering who you are.
Very true.
And be yourself, be who you are, love what you do. Yeah. That's simple.
It's
Other people and Western culture.
Yeah.
We can be ourselves, is it
Of
not?
course.
Because we have a beautiful culture too.
This is a saying by none other than our former president, Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He said that we cannot change our future, but if we change our habits right now, that is going to change our future.
Very true.
I think Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he is speaking about the fact that our future is also irreversible and inevitable if you don't work on your daily, simple, mundane lives. And here he is talking about our habits. So one thing I personally also have that thing, and it's the fact that we strive to become big, we strive to become this exceptional personalities, but we don't work on our habits.
True. One step at a time. Everything starts with one step at a time. I mean, I'm learning in this.
Yeah, and a good reminder that the smallest turn today will lead you to a dramatically different tomorrow. Yeah.
That's very true. You were saying we have got to have clarity and also know yourself. You need to know yourself, you need to have clarity, and it all ties up to happiness in our lives. And today the show is about aspirations and belief, to be the type of person you aspire to be, as well as the kind of life you wish to live, right? A lot of it also has to do with believe in yourself, believe in God, believe in your people, your family, everyone. In conclusion, I would like, if all of us to have just share perhaps 2 lines or 1 line also regarding
Okay.
how happiness impacts you and how it also affects your aspirations.
Okay. Before I speak about what makes me happy, I just wanted to share something, a line for all the viewers and for all of us, that if you have a desire, okay, if you have a desire, do not retire. Continue to refire until you acquire your desire. Because if you fail to aspire, you are expired.
Very interesting.
So, okay, anyways, so for a lot of people, they may think that music makes me happy as an artist. For a lot of people may think that, yes, ministry makes me happy. It does, okay, it does. But one simple thing, it's very simple, and it could be silly for a lot of people, but it's very important to me and it makes me feel happy. And that is, when I help other people. For example, like you're going through, you're in the same transportation bus, okay, sharing the bus with some people, and you get to pay their bus fare. That makes me happy. Or maybe there is an old lady who is selling a vegetable on the street. Buy and help them. Not necessarily you need the vegetables. It makes me happy. Or you see somebody on your WhatsApp status depressed or upset, or write something which is negative, you try to encourage them, okay, or at least write a line, I'm praying for you, or you are very much appreciated. I think it makes me feel happy. So literally what I mean is, when you do something even simple but help other people in a big or small way, because I believe that every small blessing turns into a big blessing one day. So that makes me feel happy. You must try, okay, you must try. It makes us feel so happy inside. Yeah. So what do you think about happiness?
I would just like to conclude by saying the fact that 90% of dreams, especially for young people, die because they are worrying what people are thinking about it. I think worry is a silent killer of all happiness. So you should just stop worrying and do what you love. In the process of you trying to find your happiness, you will be a happiness to other people.
I'll sum up by saying a very popular quote, or a very cliche quote, I would say, which goes like this: you only get one life, but if you live it right, then one life is more than enough. So yeah, life is simple. Keep it simple. Don't complicate it by overthinking, like I have mentioned earlier, and live it to the fullest. And also, yeah, stop keeping scores and start living your life.
Right. So now I'm the last one. But I can really relate with CA here. Like said, and I'm gonna bring it up again, that I believe that life is a journey of self-discovery. I'm always reminding myself that, again, relating back to Kim, life is just once, and no one can replace you. So when you're alive, what you can do with your might or with your ability that you have, and it can be the smallest way, but it's all right. That's how you grow and you share happiness. And happiness is nothing when you share it with someone that you love, or with the people that is around you. So yes, it's all about taking small steps, and it's all about the things that you can do with your ability. So that's where my happiness begins.
Very well.
Semua lagu je, kalau kusi balas itu contoh macam mana? Kita orang kusi bawa itu bikulu lagi. For example, I'm happy when I'm with my children. I love my kids, and also I'm happy when I'm doing something like this. We have a calling. Okay, all of us have a calling. Whatever we do is a calling, actually. But for my calling, it is to change mindsets, to bring positive belief to people, and to enable ourselves to grow as well as change mindsets and impact lives. And so today, I think we have come to the end of our program, but it's been so great in discussing like this, and we'll also do it further. And one thing again, we want to request our viewers so that they can give comments below, as well as they can also ask questions, which we'll try to answer in the next episodes. And by the way, again, this being a series, we'll look forward to recording every time, as well as interacting again with ourselves and with the viewers. So before we finish, I want to request Sia to give a last word.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity to conclude. So let me wind up this way. Trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. And seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything will be added. I'm telling you, everything will be added. Not something. God's word didn't say something. Everything will be added. You know, when I was very little, I started serving the Lord ever since I was 11 years old. I never say, God, give me this, give me that. I need this and I need that. You know, when I was focused in the Lord, God was making sure that he was not adding something but everything in my life. And look at me today. I am here, an artist. I just got my master degree, okay, in Nagaland University. I have all I want. I have a ministry. I have a loving family. I have everything I want. I know health. Okay, I have health, I mean. And we never know going to the hospital. You know, God does, you know, God's word is truly amazing. He is a God. His promises are everlasting. His promises are very true. Because if God says he will do it and he don't, he's a God of liar. And when he's a God of liar, he's not God. So my conclusion is, put your trust in the Lord and tell God about your happiness. I'm sure that God will help you succeed and fly like an eagle. Thank you. Done.
And the strategy of clarity is that if you're having trouble sticking to a habit, it might be that there's some kind of lack of clarity in your mind about what exactly you're up to. And there's two kinds of clarity. One is clarity of values, and one is clarity of action. So clarity of values is, what is it that you really want? What is it that you're trying to achieve in this situation? And a lot of times we don't have clarity because there's two things that we want. We feel ambivalent. Like we kind of want one thing, but we kind of want the other, or something seems really important to other people, but it's not really that important to us. So what are we going to do? For example, here's some common areas where there's a lack of clarity. On the one hand, I want to get more sleep. On the other hand, I want some time each day to talk to my sweetheart, watch TV, and have fun. Or I want to be frugal, but I also want to join a gym. I want to plan for the future by saving for retirement, but I also want to enjoy the present by traveling. Or I want to drink less, but I want to be the life of the party. And so you have two things that you're not really clear what you're pursuing. And so the more you really just think about, in this situation, what is it that you want to ask of yourself? What is it that you want to achieve in this circumstance? And once you have clarity, a lot of times your habits can follow very easily, or you can make decisions that are going to make it easier to stick to your habits. One of my favorite examples of this is this couple that I heard about where they were having this big argument. One of them was like, we need to keep the house clean and comfortable. It's like, it's always messy. It's always dirty. We got to put time into this. And the other one was like, no, we both work really hard. We need to come home and have leisure and have time to just hang out. So they're fighting and fighting and fighting. Finally, they go to couples therapy, fighting. Who's right? Who's wrong? What should we do? And then finally they were like, no. They quit couples therapy and used the money, instead of for couples therapy, to use a once-a-week cleaning service. Once they got clarity about what the real issue was, there was a way to solve it. And so clarity is super important. So that's clarity of values. What is it that you want? What's the value that you want to serve in a particular situation? And then there's also clarity of action. And this is the very simple, obvious point that when you're trying to form a habit is going to instill more easily if it's very specific what you're expecting from yourself. So instead of thinking, oh, well, I want to eat healthfully, you say, oh, I'm going to pack a lunch and take it to work every day. Or instead of saying, I want to get more sleep, you say, I want to get at least 7.5 hours of sleep every night, so I'm going to go to bed at 10:30 every night if I'm home. And so the more specific you are about that, the clearer you are about the particular action that you're taking, the more likely it is that that habit is going to form.